It has been such a privilege for Quinn and I to accompany this amazing group of youth on this confirmation journey. Over the past 5 months, we've met regularly to reflect on life, to reflect on our beliefs, on the basic Christian practices, on the Bible, and on our life together in community. Orienting us on this journey have been questions, many questions. Those we posed, those the confirmands have posed. Questions like, who am I? How do my beliefs shape my actions? What does it mean to be a Christian, a disciple of Jesus? And am I one? Why would I join a church? A few of the topics they explored over these months together included the ancient world of Jesus and the Bible, Jesus' birth and baptism, healing and forgiveness, parables and the kingdom of God. What does the Bible say about homosexuality? The Last Supper and Jesus' death and resurrection. Why do we worship the way we do? The birth of the church. Spiritual types and how to nurture our own spiritual growth. And each of these confirmands you will see and hear from this morning dived into this process, into these questions, incredibly open-hearted, incredibly willing to engage in whatever we threw out there with a real and genuine willingness to grow that I think will come through in their statements. Each confirmand was assigned an adult mentor, a member of the church who accompanied them on this journey by attending some of the sessions, sharing their own faith journey, visiting another church's worship service together, and engaging the confirmands through questions, care, and prayer, simply being the church for one another. The mentors help the youth see that we are not of one mind in this church about what we believe or how we experience God. But through their commitment and love to the confirmands, they also demonstrated what it is we do share in common, that which binds us together as a faith community. The culmination of the confirmation process is an invitation for each youth to write a statement of faith and share it with you on this day. This is the same invitation whether or not a confirmand chooses to be confirmed. And we affirm them, each one of them, for their faith and their doubt. These statements are not only meant to be snapshots. Let me say it again. These faith statements are only meant to be snapshots, glimpses of the breadth and depth of their faith in this particular moment. And I have to say, throughout this process, we have seen that they have so much to say about their faith in these questions. But for today, Corinne and I limited them to 250 words, which in and of itself requires discipline and focus. But today is also about all of us. Confirmation Sunday is the last step in fulfilling the promise we made when these confirmands were baptized to guide and nurture each of them and to introduce them to Christ until they were able to claim their faith for themselves. They will stand before us today, ready to do this, to claim their faith as their own. Let us give thanks for each one of them, for this church's shared ministry, and for the great work that God has begun in each one of them. I now would like to invite our confirmands forward to share their statements of faith.
Hi, I'm Iris, and I'm going to share part of my faith statement. I believe in God. I believe that God is not male, female, or anywhere else on the gender spectrum. I believe that God is, to put it simply, a being who acts as almost the consciousness of every living thing. The voice that tells you you need to do something more with your life, that's God. The voice that tells you to stop procrastinating or you will regret it, that's also God. And even, and especially, the voice that tells you that you are doing what you need to do is God. I believe that God is human to a certain extent, but I do not think that God can be defined by gender, race, or any other such means. God is seen differently by almost everyone, which I feel is our own personal connection to God. I believe in Jesus. I believe that Jesus is the Son of God sent to teach others. I also believe that Jesus was a person, a human being, but with certain divine qualities. In all honesty, Jesus is most likely the aspect of Christianity that I have thought about the least during the confirmation process. However, I am prepared to continue solidifying my beliefs as I grow older and grow in my faith. The confirmation process has helped me solidify my current beliefs and enabled me to put them in writing, something I was never able to do prior. Later down the line, I am sure, almost positive, that my beliefs regarding my faith will change as I change and continue to learn. This is no way in my mind the ending and finale to this trip, but rather the beginning to something that will hopefully last a lifetime.
I am Alma, and I will also be sharing just part of my faith statement. Where has God been throughout the process of my confirmation? Good question. Oh, you wanted me to answer it. I don't know, everywhere, right? I mean, that's what you taught me, correct? That God is present in everything we experience, everything we do, right? From my perspective, God is too vast a concept, too broad an idea, too great a being for me to possibly identify where he has been, whom he has touched, and what he has done. I simply accept the love and the mystery that accompany being religious. But you are a questioner. You're a challenger, you might say. I didn't expect you to just accept God with no questions asked. Yes, I am inquisitive, but only about certain things. I understand that God is something I will never be able to understand, someone whose thoughts and capabilities I will never be able to comprehend, so I don't question it. However, I do question the human actions when it comes to religion, how we go about following him. Why do we follow him the way we do? How do we know that this is how we should follow him? All right, time for the biggie. Am I ready to be confirmed? You might think that there is no contest, and when you look at all the pros of joining this church, I would agree that there is only one answer to this question: yes. I mean, Mac Plymouth does an amazing job as a church. We're a sanctuary church decided by members of an open and affirming church, all of whom do an amazing job of accepting everyone who walks into this building. Because, if you can't change it, accept it. I've never known a church that's restricted my life outside of church at all, something that I think is important, knowing when to separate faith from other parts of your life. But there is a con, a lingering thought that I cannot push out of my mind. Is McAllister Plymouth the church that best represents me and my faith? For now, that answer is yes. And as for the two voices that appear to me when I make a decision, God's and my own, for this one, God's is silent. And due to all the voices coming in from the outside world, mine is confused. So I make this choice on my own, choosing to confirm my faith and become a member of McAllister Plymouth United Church. I look forward to exploring my faith and finding my spiritual identity as a part of the wonderful congregation here at MPUC.
Hello, I'm Charlie. So there have been many questions that I have thought deeply about during this process, and today I will share with you the answers that I have found to be true. I know that my knowledge and faith, as my knowledge and faith further develop, my answers to these will probably change. But as of now, these are what I find to be the truths about my faith. First, I will start with the easy stuff, well, at least to me. Am I ready to be confirmed? I love this church and congregation and everything that it stands for. I have grown and matured here like a second home, and everyone here has been like a second family. This process has helped me learn more about myself, my spirituality, my values and goals, and what I found to be true about my faith. But I haven't only learned more about myself, I've learned more about my fellow confirmands, who I can wholeheartedly call friends. Their beliefs, their faiths, and their truths. Through this process, I've bonded with each one of them, and I hope that they can say the same about me. So the answer is yes, and even though I admit that I have a lot to learn about both my faith and myself, I believe that this is the first step to broadening my knowledge and faith. And now I will talk about probably one of the biggest questions in all of Christianity. Who is God? Now, as a 13-year-old, I know that I have a lot to learn about God, but as of right now, here's what I believe. I see God as a parent, both mother and father. God nurtures us and cares for us, comforts and helps us through rough times like mother, but also scolds us for wrongdoing, helps us fix our mistakes, and helps us grow into respectable adults or Christians like the Father. I also see God in people who I'm close to like parents, friends, and siblings, people like my brother Sam, who when I was in 2nd grade had a brain tumor. I am blessed with his life every day, and he is a constant reminder to me that, He's a constant reminder to me that miracles do happen. And now, whenever I see him, I can always feel a holy and sacred presence. I have learned that God is always listening, even if you don't speak. God is always forgiving, even when you do the worst. And God will always understand, even when you don't expect him to. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Anna, and one of my fondest memories of this church was participating in the Christmas pageant. I vividly recall playing Mary. Sorry, I'm short. And being glad that I don't have to say any lines. I believe that a Christian should be open to new ideas and beliefs, kind, forgiving, and non-judgmental. This church has helped me see Christians as more than ultra-conservatives, closed-minded people. To me, a true Christian tries their hardest to resist these characteristics by finding the loving message that I believe the Bible harbors. They can follow this example. I believe what makes the Bible important to people is that it makes people feel closer to God and it spreads a message of love. For example, the parable of the Good Samaritan spreads a message of love. The story revolves around two people who are supposed to hate each other, a Samaritan who is considered a traitor, and a man from an opposite side. Putting aside prejudice to help other people is a model of love I believe all people should follow. This is why it's important to me that our church is open-minded and does work in the community. Things such as taking in a refugee family and volunteering at a food shelf makes our church meaningful to me. However, I have trouble with many things that come along with being a Christian. Such things include the thought process that if your belief is different than my belief, then it is invalid, whether it's to other Christians or to other religions. This thought process makes it hard for me to be a Christian. Another thing that I have trouble with is cherry-picking the Bible. People can take the Bible and twist it into virtually anything they want it to be. But despite all this, I believe my faith helps me be grateful for the small things and inspires me to do good things in the world.
Hi, my name is Sam, and my faith statement is made up of once upon a times. Once upon a time, there was a being called God. I believe that God created the world and everything in it. However, I do not believe that it was created over the course of 7 days, as science tells us otherwise. I believe that God created humans and loves each of them unconditionally. I believe that God has a plan for all of us, but it is our choice to follow it. Once upon a time, there was a man named Jesus, born a long time ago. I believe that Jesus was the Son of God. I believe that he was born to the Virgin Mary. I believe that he was crucified for our sins and later resurrected. I believe that Jesus will return when we need him most. Once upon a time, there was a book called the Bible. I believe that the Bible should not be taken literally or used for hate. I believe that the Bible is an insight into the way of the Lord, but not the final word of Christianity. Once upon a time, there was a church. The church was called the McAllister Plymouth United Church. This church is devoted to helping everyone through their journey in their faith. They spread the word of the Lord through peacemaking and service work. And once upon a time, there was a boy at that church. This boy's name was Sam. Sam still has a large part of his journey in faith ahead of him, but I believe and hope that in the future he will continue to spread God's love and peace.
Hello, my name is Quinn, and I will be sharing with you today my statement of faith. If I were to choose a word which explains the past few months, I would say change. Within this school year, I have developed both mentally and spiritually. At the beginning of 9th grade, I was doubting my faith. I was uncertain about the form and presence God took. I never saw God as an omnipresent being, but more as an energy of spirit which exists inside of one. Throughout this journey, I have begun to discover my faith, and I matured, and I believe the two complemented each other. A thing that I love about our church is how open to ideas and interpretations it is. Our church has given me a safe space to ask questions. One of the most important things to me of my religion is the themes of the Bible. I believe the Bible is supposed to be analyzed and learned from, but not necessarily to be taken literally. At this stage, I do believe that I am ready to be confirmed, as I have a level of understanding of Christianity, and I believe in the teachings of Jesus. I also do think that my viewpoints will change in the future, as I don't believe one will ever fully complete their journey in their lifetime, as religion is an extremely big and open conversation.
Hi, I'm Joseph. To me, Jesus was mainly a guy who helped other people out. You can question stories like whether he walked on water, turned water to wine, or even rose from the dead, but one thing that really can't be questioned is his passion for helping others. He helped the poor, the needy, just normal people. Jesus was never only about advancing his own agenda or portraying himself as better than everyone else, just making our world a better place to live and improving others' lives. In my view, he wasn't exactly a divine figure, but he was a human who exceeded expectations of being a human so much that he seemed godlike in comparison. God wants the best for all of us. That much I'm sure of, but after that, I think we as humans have a lot of choice and responsibility as to what happens to our lives. I don't really think that there's a set, specific plan for each of our lives given to us at birth. I would say that some of this belief that I hold stems from my actual beliefs and values, but I think a sizable amount comes from not wanting to become complacent. If I make a mistake or somehow mess up my life, I don't want to say it's just all God's plan, because there was probably something I could have done to handle the situation better. I want to stay motivated to make better decisions and not just blow around in the wind and hope I end up in a good place.
Hello, my name is Caleb. What is faith? Through and before confirmation, I've been faced with this question, and frankly, I have been afraid and excited to answer it. I wasn't sure what I believed in. Questioned myself about meanings in the Bible and who or what God and Jesus are to me. Confirmation was a journey, and by the end I realized it's okay to question what I believe in. I didn't need all the answers or meanings, something I had become so accustomed to knowing. I want to be confirmed because this church means so much to me, now more than ever. When I first joined the youth group in 7th grade, it was one of the first times I really pushed myself to do something foreign and new to me. I was scared. I didn't know anyone in the youth group at the time, but when I put myself out there, I felt welcomed. A strong sense of community that washed away my fears. That gave me confidence to explore my faith, and thankfully, I am privileged in the way I don't feel restricted by guidelines, that I can ask questions in a church so open to all people and beliefs. To me, God isn't something so easy to define, not geometric but organic, natural. God for me is the compassion people show or give one another through acts of kindness and love. The feelings of joy and happiness I feel connected to, feelings all people are capable of. This church is so special to me because of the compassion people show one another and have shown me. Thank you.